Good day everyone and welcome to our today's mathematics class with Mr. Michael, the mathematics teacher. Today we'll be moving forward with our Roman numerals, and we've been able to learn from 1 to about 400, which we know that we've gone so far, and we are going to round it up today. At least when we get to 1000, we'll give it a break. So following the rules that we discussed about last time, for us to get to 1000, we must still remind ourselves of the rules that guide Roman numerals. One of the rules is the repetitive rule. The repetitive rule. We talk about the additive rule, and we also talk about the subtractive rule. Subtractive rule. We'll still talk about these rules so that we know how to forge ahead with our lesson today. So we all know that repetitive rule says no number is repeated more than 3 times. Only. Any number that repeats itself more than 3 times, automatically you are getting it wrong. That is what the repetitive rule says. What does it mean? That means we know that this is for 1, this is 2, this is 3. So this 1 does not repeat itself more than this number of times. If you want to write 4, you cannot say, then it is wrong. So that's what the repetitive rule says. No number repeats itself more than thrice. Secondly, even if it is x, because we know that we have 1 repeats itself twice and thrice. Now the next one we have is v, which we know that is 5. Even v cannot repeat itself more than 3 times. The next one we have is x. Even x cannot repeat itself more than 3 times. This is what repetitive rule says. Because this, we all know that x is for 10. Then x, that's 10 plus 10 plus 10 gives us 30. That means this one is 30. And we all know that v is 5. So when we cannot add it v to make it 15. But whatever we get to, we can't repeat a number more than 3 times. Just like the i's. The I will have it once, twice, and thrice. That is all. Now we'll talk about the additive rule. The additive rule says that whenever a bigger number, example, like the ones we have on the board, we have v to be 5. Now, if we want to write 4, we know that we have our repetitive, it ends only in 3. We won't need to write 4. Now we have 5. If this is 5, if 1 comes before 5, that means we'll subtract 1 from 5. That means this will give us 5 minus 1, because 1 is in front of 5. So we'll subtract 1 from 5. This will give us IV, which is 4. This is what the subtractive rule says. Now the additive rule says, since this is 5, if you want to write 6, the I will come here. That means when a bigger number is in front of a smaller number, we add 1 or 2 to it, depending on the number you want to write. For example, if this is 5 plus this is I, 1, it gives us 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. That means V and 1 gives us VI, and VI means 6. This is what we talk about the rules that guide Roman numerals. Now we don't need to flog ourselves much on it. Let's see how we get across to where we are going. Now we have been able to learn up to 499. Now we are starting from 500 to 1000, which is as simple as it has always been. If we know that we have D to be 500, we know how we got 400 by adding C at the back. C is for 100. That means 100 century means 100 years. So that's why we got C to be 100. Then D is 500. If D is 500, for us to write 400 now, we will still do the subtractive rule. That means C and D together. Since the smaller number, we know that D is bigger than C. Since C comes before D, we will subtract 100 because we are subtracting C. But that means we are subtracting 100 from 500, which will be 500 minus 100, which will give us 400. That is the same subtractive rule that we're using. So the same rule guides anything concerning Roman numeral. The repetitive rule, the additive rule, and the subtractive rule. For example, now let's look at additive rule. If we have C, C, and C, that means 100, 100, and 100 gives us 300. But now that we're looking for 400, and we already know that D is 500, for us to write 400, we can't say C, C, C into 4 places. Rather, we will write the D. The C will come in front of D, so that we will subtract 100, which is C, from 500. Now, so we'll have 400. That is how we will get our 400. Now, let's start from 500. This is our 500. D is for 500. Now, if you want to write 501, you write DI, which is 501. DII, which is 502. Sorry. Now, we have no 503. We want to write 504. That means we know that our D is this. Then what is 4? 4, we know that 4 is IV. But does it go this way? Maybe yes, or maybe no. But since we're adding to this, that means 500 minus 4. So it's giving us a different thing. So it's not the one that we're looking for that we will add at the back. I just want us to understand it. The fact that we're looking for 504 does not mean we should add 4 before D. Rather, we will subtract from 100 what is 500 minus what will give us 4. That means 500 minus 96. So we say this is D. What is 96? 96, well, already we know that C is for 100. Then what is 9? 9 is IX. This IX means 99. I don't know if we are following. Since this one is 99. Now, what is 6? 6 is VI. And this VI, if it comes before 100, that means we are removing 6 from 100, which will give us 94. That means, since this is D, we'll say VIC before D. So that it will be that we are saying 500 minus 100 minus 6, which will give us 500 minus or 100 is what? 400. Then minus 6 again, it will give us 394. That is the method we're going to apply here. So that if this will give us 394, that means for us now to get 504, we get our what? 500 first. Now we are not counting backwards, we are counting forward. Since this is 500, DII is for what? DII, this is 503. D again, IV is 504. DV is 505. The process continues. Now, if we want to write 509, we'll write DIX, which is 509. If we want to write 510, we'll write DX. That means 500 plus 10, which will give us 510. We continue. If we want to write 520, DXX, 520. 550, we all know that 50 is L. This is 550, will give us 550. Now, if we want to write 600, this is D and this is C, which will give us 600. That means 500 plus 100 gives us 600. Now, we want to write 700, D, C, C, because CC is 200, then D is 500. This will give us 700. Then 800, D, because now we said that a number cannot repeat itself. more than 3 times. This C, we know that C is 300 plus this D, making it 800. Then 900, we can't repeat C more than 3 times. That is what repetitive rule says, that no number repeat itself more than 3 times, or no alphabet rather. So we have, for 900, we have to go to 1 million. I will say that 1,000, the 1,000 is M. Where does this M come from? Millennium. Millennium means 1,000. So we go to that M and write D before, and write C before the M, millennium. That means 1,000 minus 100 gives us 900. Then if you want to write for the 1,000 instead, you write M for 1,000. That means if you want to write 1,001, that's 1,100. 1,001 is MI, 1,002 is MII. You want to write 1,100, this C now will change will transfer to this side. This will give us 1,100. But like we said, we are going to end in 1,000. So for us to get 900, we will first of all ask ourselves, since we cannot write D, C, because this one now will be outside. That means you can only repeat this 3 times. And this one is 800. So what will happen is that we'll ask what is 1,000. 1,000 is what? M. Now, how do we remove 100 from M so that it will become 100? We add C before the M. That will become M minus C, which is 1,000 minus 100, which will give us 900. And that is how the process continues. So as it is, as simple as it is, each and every one of us can do this peacefully and rest of us without missing anything. Like I said earlier, we are going to stop here. As we say, we're going to end it, stop in 1,000. Like I said earlier, my name is Mr. Michael. And if there is anything here you feel that is confusing you, or anything that you know you need clarification, I'm still available to answer all your questions and explain them to you in details in a way that will make you more better on these Roman numerals. Like I said, my name is Mr. Michael, I'm a mathematics teacher. Thank you and God bless you.